G'day guys and welcome back to the channel. It has been a hot minute since we've done a Digimon deck profile. Today we are coming back at you with a new BT9 deck profile. We're going to be looking at ShineGreymon, as we can see, and as we can see it is a red base ShineGreymon. This is a deck that I've been playing around with quite a lot in this format and I've really been enjoying playing it. Has a decent matchup into most of the meta decks, and it's not super meta this deck, but it's a lot of fun. But no more blabbering. Make sure you guys leave a comment on what you think of the deck profile, things you do different, things you like, things you don't like, but let's get into the deck profile. Alright, as we already mentioned, we are running a red base. So our eggs, we got Gigimon or Gigimon as the egg, and that pairs really well with the only level 3s that we are running, which are Guilmon, the promo Guilmon. So Gigimon inheritable is when attacking, if this Digimon is Guilmon, Greymon or Gallantmon, we get to draw one card. And Guilmon's effect is when attacking, draw one card. So whenever we are swinging with Guilmon, we are drawing two, which is just insane value. Especially in an OTK format where things just like to go a bit faster. It's much nicer for us to see our pieces as quick as we can. So Guilmon helps out quite a lot. For our level 4s, we are just running the hybrid. So we've got 4 Kazemon and we've got 4 Zephyrmon. So feel free to roast me if I'm saying that completely wrong, but that's what we're going with. So yeah, we are just running the hybrids because basically we got a whole bunch of tamers in this deck that we can go over with these hybrids. So Kazemon is just a basic vanilla hybrid, 2 costs to go over, and then Zephyrmon is another hybrid, so 2 costs to go over a tamer, but it is also a 1 cost to go over another level 4. So if you're super bricky, we can go Zephyrmon on top of our Kazemon to just get that extra draw, find those missing pieces that we have. Zephyrmon's other effect is if we have a Zoe underneath, when we are running Zoes in this deck, we can buff our security by 3000 until the end of our opponent's next turn, which does actually pair really well with Zoe's effects. We'll just show Zoe here. So Zoe as inheritable, opponent's turn, all of our security gain 3000. So if we have these two guys in play, we'll Zephyrmon on top of our Zoe, our security is buffed by 6000. Right, moving on to the level 5. So we are running a ShineGreymon deck, which means we are going to have some Rise Greymons in there. So starting off, we're going to have the BT2 Rise Greymon. We are running 4 of this guy right here. So when digivolving, so digivolving for 3 on top of a yellow. When digivolving, we can play 1 yellow tamer from our hand without paying its memory cost. But sadly, the on-play effects do not trigger. So which means things like our Taikari or our TK Kari are going to be the best cards that we want to play off this Rise Greymon, because these guys don't have any on-play effects. They're super value for helping us gain extra memory and reducing DP or reducing security strength. So yeah, really good to play those. But if we don't have those in hand, we've only got the other tamers in hand, not a bad thing, because we need lots of tamers out for this deck, which we'll see in just a moment. The other level 5 that we're running is Rise Greymon X Antibody. So this guy, for those of you who don't know, so 4 costs to go over a normal level 4, which is a bit expensive, but it does have an alternate Digi-Evolution cost. So we can go over Rise Greymon for 1, which is just super value. It's when Digivolving effect is we can play a yellow or red tamer from our hand without paying its memory cost. On-play effects do trigger this time, so we can pretty much go for anything, ideally your TK and your Zoe, so we can trigger those searches. But as I said, any tamers on board is just super good for this deck. The other effect is if we do have that Rise Greymon underneath, one of our opponent's Digimon gets neg 2000 DP for each yellow or red tamer that we have in play. So very easy to spam a bunch of guys out there. So if we do play a tamer off Rise Grey and then off Rise Grey X Anti, we're at least negging 4000 DP to something. More tamers, more DP, helps us remove little things, helps us reduce the strength of those bigger guys, so then we can then swing over. We are playing 1 more level 5 in the deck, and then we are playing Jet Selfimon. Because why not? Jet Selfie is always going to be a 1 cost to Digivolve into, just because we're always going to have Jet Selfie go over something and has a tamer underneath, and then we always get that recovery 1. So recovery 1 is just nice, and that 1 cost to Digivolve is also just nice value, helps us get into those level 6s a little bit quicker. And speaking of level 6s, let's talk about what we're running. We are first of all running 2 ShineGreymon. So ShineGreymon is the removal level 6 that we have for the deck. So when Digivolving, we can suspend all of our yellow tamers, and for each tamer that we suspend, something will get neg 4000 DP. So we can pile that all on top of one Digimon, or we can spread those 4000s out across multiple Digimon. So if our opponent's going wide with lots of level 3s, we can basically just wipe their board. Or if they've got one big annoying stack that we want to get rid of, then we can wipe it out that way. The next level 6 that we're running, which is where we run into a bit of our meta cores, a bit of spice, is 2 Tsukuyamon. So Tsukuyamon is just really good in this meta, this OTK meta. So its effect is when an opponent's Digimon moves from the breeding area into the battle area, it gains neg 3 security checks. So that's just really good against pretty much all the decks in this meta, except for Mother D Reaper. But we have a few other things that'll help us deal with that matchup. But yeah, it's really good against those Garurumons, those Grandis, those X antibodies. Yeah, really good against all those other OTK decks. The last of the level 6s that we are running 2 Seraphimon. So Seraphimon is in there for a few different things. So it's when Digivolving, regardless of what's going on in the current born state, we are going to recover 1. Super value. Helps us to get further ahead when we are ahead. Also helps us to kind of catch up if we are a little bit behind. So if we're going Jet Selfie then into Seraphimon, we're recovering 2, which is pretty nice. The other effect is that if we have 3 or more security, this guy gains security attack +1. So Seraphimon's not only there for the recovery, help us get ahead or catch up, but also provides a bit of extra aggression, especially if we do have the BT2 ShineGreymon underneath. That means we can swing 3 checks with this guy, as long as we're meeting that 3 security for Seraphimon and that 3 or more yellow tamers for that ShineGreymon. So we can apply a bit of aggression. That 10k DP, I know what you're saying, is not that massive, which is why the Taikaris are just super value. So the effect, we'll talk about the effect of Taikari now, or at least one of them, is that we can suspend this tamer to reduce our opponent's security by 2000 DP. So we have multiple out there, 2, 4, 6, 8 that we're reducing the security strength by. Yeah, super value. The other thing that helps us is with the TK Kari, we can just neg something by 1000 just to maybe help Seraphimon get over. But usually when we go into Seraphimon, we're not really trying to clear a Digimon. That's more ShineGreymon's job. But if we have that as our only option, and if we have TK Kari out there, it just makes it a little bit easier. Right, now moving on to the tamers. So we are running 4 Taikari. So we've spoken a little bit about the your turn effect for Taikari. So if one of our red or yellow Digimon attacks, we can suspend this to reduce security strength by 2000. But the other effect is at the start of your turn, if we have 3 or less security, we gain 1 memory, and then the other part of that is if our opponent has 3 or less security, we also gain 1 memory. So we can gain 2 memory of one of them, 2, 4, 6, 8 memory. There's plenty of games where I'm starting, with at least 6 memory because of these guys, as well as because of our TKs and because of the TK Kari. So memory, especially late game with this deck, is usually not a problem. And it's mainly thanks to Taikari. Now, speaking of memory, the memory tamer that we're running is TK. So TK, at the start of our turn, make sure that we start with 3 memory, super value, and then pair with our Taikaris. We're starting with 5, 7, 9, 10, lots of memory. The on-play effect of TK is we can look at our security and then add 1 card to our hand. If that card that we add is yellow, we can then recover 1. Now TK helps us find those missing pieces that we need, helps us grab those hybrids, those level 6s that we're missing. But I do find myself a lot of the time grabbing Greymon. Now we don't get to recover if we grab Greymon, but Greymon's super valuable, as we spoke about before. We're drawing 2 every time we swing. It helps us turn on our Tai Kari sooner, and also helps us turn on our TK Karis as well, because if we have less security than our opponent, we're gaining memory off that tamer there. So TK also helps us kind of mold our security, so we got those options or tamers in there. That's kind of what we want to make our security to be. So another card that helps us mold our security is our Zoes. So we're running 3 Zoes. Zoes are on plays, we can look at our security, we can grab a hybrid from our hand. So we're grabbing all our level 4s and we're grabbing Jet Sylphie. So generally off your TK, you don't really want to grab a hybrid because Zoe's going to do it, but there are cases where TK will need it to grab us a hybrid. When we grab a hybrid, we also get to recover 1 off Zoe. So making sure that security does not deplenish too much or too quickly. And we've also spoken about the inheritable for Zoe. On our opponent's turn, all our security gains 3000 DP buff, which is super nice. Now the last of our tamers that we are running, we are running 2 TK Karis. So TK Kari at the start of our turn, if we have less security than our opponent, we're gaining 2 memory. And a lot of the time in this fast OTK format, that is the case. There are some times where we are ahead. We've done like a bunch of recovery with our Jet Sylphie or our Seraphimon, and we're ahead. It just means we can use TK Kari as a hybrid target for digivolving. So there's always value to be had with the TK Kari. And the other effect, which you briefly mentioned before as well, when a yellow Digimon swings, which all our Digimon are except for our Greymon, we can suspend this tamer to reduce one of our opponent's Digimon by 1000 DP. Super value. But as you can see, we've got a lot of 4-cost tamers in the deck, which is why the ShineGreymon, the ShineGreymon X Antibody are super good, because we can play these guys for free. Another card which we'll talk about in just a moment that helps us play tamers for free is Sunrise Buster. Alright, going to options, we were just talking about it, let's talk about it. Sunrise Buster, absolutely busted card. 5 cost to play, as we spoke about, memory, especially late games, not a struggle for us, so we can sometimes play this and still have other moves. But the main effect is the same as the security effect. We can play 1 red or yellow tamer, which is all of our tamers. And then for each tamer that we have in play, one of our opponent's Digimon gets neg 3000 DP. So we can't spread this one out like our ShineGreymon. It has to be all go on 1 Digimon. But 3, 6, 9, 12, we're negging quite a lot. So most of the time we're deleting stuff with it. Other times we're just reducing it so that we can then swing over those pesky Digimon. And there's times where you'll actually have a bunch of memory where you can play multiple of these in a turn just to get rid of the big threat that's going to take us out next turn. The next super broken card that we have in our options is Holy Flame. So the 2-cost option, super cheap to play. Its main effect is one of our opponent's Digimon gets neg 3 security checks, which is absolutely crazy. There's been multiple games, especially things like against Ancient Grey, where I've played a few of those just to neg their security checks by a bit there. But the security effect is also just absolutely insane. The security effect is all of our opponent's Digimon get neg 1 security check. So that's all the ones currently in play. If they play any more, it also counts for them as well. So this card's really good against the mother matchup. Really good against those boards that are going wide. It doesn't completely stop things like Grandis or your Metal Guru with those extra security checks or your Alphamons, but also that one less check for each swing can usually save you a turn, so then you can then delete their Digimon, or then you can take them out the following turn. Alright, the next options that we are running 2 Gaia Force. So Gaia Force, I chose Gaia Force over something like a Wyvern's Breath for a couple of reasons. One, it's really good into the Mother matchup, just because Mother's super popular right now. It also helps work around those Digimon that just climb above that 15,000 DP threshold, things like your Grandis. It is also really good against your Metal Garurumons as well, that can just completely wipe that out. It's just not always the best against something like your Alphamon when they have that protection going on, but most of the time they're also protected from DP reduction as well. So that the Wyvern's Breath is sometimes not a better option there. The only time this card's not good is against something like your Wargrey Ex-Ante that have that deletion prevention effects going on, which is when Wyvern's Breath would be a nicer choice. So if you are seeing more Wargrey in your local meta, then feel free to switch this out for a Wyvern's Breath. The last option that we are running, last card in the deck, is we are running one Reinforcing Memory Boost. 6 cost to play. We can reveal 2 cards, add one to our security, add the other one to our hand. So we're also working on molding our security, which is really important in this deck, making sure we're having tamers and options in there. And then we're also finding our missing pieces for our other plays. And then the delay effect of gaining 3 is just absolutely crazy. 3 memory is just super valuable. Helps us to play more options, more Digimon, more tamers, whatever it is, just to try and get ahead or try and stop our opponent from taking us out that turn. Alright, and there's the whole deck for all of you guys that don't want to hear me babble on and just want to see what the deck looks like. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Once again, please let us know in the comments what you think of the deck, what you like, what you don't like. If you played something like it, let us know if you've had any success. Also, let us know down below if there's anything else you want to see profiled here on the channel. But thank you so much for checking it out today. Stay beautiful, and we'll see you guys in the next one.